Hey, how's it going?
Damian, what's
Sorry
up,
for being
dude?
1 minute late.
No, that's okay. You're like 1 minute late. I just started 2 minutes early, so you're fine.
It's good.
Yeah,
How's it
man.
going?
Good, good. My wife and I were in Atlanta, quarantining, doing it up. We get to go on walks once in a while. You're in New York right now, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn and Williamsburg. So I decided to do this outside,
Cool.
um, just as an ode to New York, rooftop,
Yeah, yeah.
a balcony.
Are you on a rooftop?
I'm on my balcony right now. I was gonna go to the rooftop, but there's a lot of noise right now, so
All
I
right.
decided to choose a quieter spot. But I'm still outside, enjoying a little bit. It's cold though, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, well, nice. Well, it's great to have you. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, man.
I'm glad. My pleasure.
Yeah, so for everyone who's on board and everyone who's here, so there are questions in the question box. Damien and I'm gonna have Damien introduce himself and what he does, and then we'll go on Q&A and we'll get started. So Damien, tell us about Damian Bao Casting and your adventure and what you do, and yeah.
Sure. So I have a casting company in New York, based in New York City, but we do projects around the world. We do traditional casting, commercial, film, and fashion casting. With the traditional models and actors, but I also specialize in street scouting and real people casting. So I'm kind of someone that a lot of directors and production go to help them cast like a very hybrid, authentic type of casting where um, when not only like established actors are
Yeah.
being considered, but we will consider new actors, actors with no managers, no agents, and we also go in the streets and find and discover people that may become the next major actor or model or whatever. So it's kind of a very democratic way to cast
Yeah.
and a very open way. We do open calls. We open every email and every submission. So we're not prejudiced. There's a lot of casting directors in LA and New York who only would open an email if it's from an agent or manager that they consistently work with, or like
Right.
a big agency. Um, I don't give a fuck, at all about any of that. If I think someone have a great face, great energy, great vibe, and they're a great actor, they have talent. That's all that fucking matters. Sorry for the cursing, but
That's all
you
right.
know,
Bring it
um,
on.
yeah, so it's about finding people that embody the spirit of the character, and that's what filmmaking to me is about telling honest, true stories, and I got into casting because I also think like um, it's run by a bunch of old, out of date gatekeepers
Mm-hmm.
and very privileged people usually who just tend to like to stick to the status quo, who refuse to give opportunities to women, to people that are LGBT, to people of color, people with disability, marginalized people, people that have been voiceless, people that been shut out, people that come from poor families. No matter if you're black, white, like pursuing a career in entertainment is expensive. It's hard,
Yeah.
and it's a sacrifice for a lot of young people, old people, whatever. So I respect talent a lot, and I believe that the opportunity should be open to everyone, no matter where you come from, your socioeconomic background. Um, if you have the chops, the talent, and you what it has, then like I'll cast you. That's what I believe in, like finding the best person for like a role.
Yeah.
So that means like opening it up, the casting process completely, completely to like everyone, not just people that have representation.
Right.
I think. So that's a little gist of what my casting company is about, but it's also about telling stories that haven't been told and supporting projects that a lot of people are afraid to fund, like projects about trans people, projects about people, from groups that often are silenced or don't get recognized, or things that are not like trendy. Yeah, I like to be ahead of the trend.
Yeah.
And also projects by, I think, we have a problem in industry, and where although there are a lot of women in front of the camera, they still are not given complex vocal roles and characters, complex characters.
Right.
And that kind, to me, that's because there's a lack of women and and people who often are silenced historically behind the scene, writing these stories and getting their stories financed and funded.
Right.
So I spend a lot of my time pursuing and looking at accepting projects that don't necessarily make money, but I think is a great investment in the future of storytelling, because they're stories told by women and they're more low budget, or people of color, LGBT people. But I feel like since I talk a lot, I need to put my money where behind what I believe in. So I do a lot of projects by female filmmakers too. So I think it's important that we really put our energy behind stories that historically aren't supported.
Right, right, and show the perspective of everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. We're in a crazy time. I mean, not just with COVID, but just in the industry in general. I mean, before all this happened, like there's been a lot of new type of content and a lot of new types of people and perspectives coming out. So it's really awesome, and you are on the cutting edge of that. It's pretty awesome, dude. Yeah.
Thank you.
What? So a question. So I'm gonna ask you a question, then we'll jump into did Carol Baskin kill her husband? I think yes. So, did you see Tiger King? Damien? There we go.
Can you repeat that? Because I think my service is cutting out.
You're cutting in and out. All right. So I guess what I was gonna ask to go along with your question is, when you are choosing your, especially.
I think Carol killed her husband.
Yeah. I think she did.
Someone just.
Yeah. I think she did.
ADD.
No, that's okay. That's the whole thing of Instagram and social media, is that we're all ADD. But all right, so
yeah.
for your projects, like for your narrative feature film projects, so obviously you told us, what you like to see in the content. How do you go about actually choosing, what producers or what directors, like, when you do a meet and greet, you read the script, how do you know that this is your project?
I think it's pretty much, it has to be a good script or like a good concept behind it, or even if it's a new director and writer and there's still a lot of work to be done, you can see the soul of the story, and you can see that it's something that hasn't been done before. Because, here's the thing in today's world is that anyone can make a film now. You can go get a camera for like $100 on Amazon or Walmart or whatever, and you can make your own film. That's the beauty of like today's world. Like, everything is accessible. You can get like free movie editing software, but making a good film is something else. I think that comes to the script and the story being told. So I have to really fall in love with the story, and also the director. It's someone that I would love to work with, because they're someone that's open to telling radical stories and open to a casting process where they're not prejudiced, where they're not looking at IMDb and be like, who's like the top 3 actors? I want them. That's not imaginative. That's just trying to sell box office tickets, which we all know doesn't always work out well for financial and movie studios. Oftentimes it's these these shows and movies that have people that haven't like had like their moment, their celebrity yet, that really makes people intrigued, because then you're not focused on like a name, you're watching for the story. So like, for example, like I think like Killing Eve is like a good example of like, of like what a young actor and then like and then another actor who was like part of a big show, who is so talented and so capable of much more, and they both get to showcase their talent in an unexpected way, and it's proven to be like very successful, so I think for me it's the story, the script first, and then who's behind the project. And I think today too we have to be like ethical and moral creators and filmmakers, where we really, we need to look at like who's involved in the projects, who's financing it. Like if the project is being financed by, money from like blood diamonds, you have to consider those things. It might not be worth it. And I think it's also like a lot of directors go through, script directors / writers who have their own project. They go through this too, where it's like, and they, I've seen some really, some directors that hold out in financing until they partner with the right people, because sometimes, just getting finance for your project, getting it made, the team that you have involved matters.
Right. How you want to tell your vision.
Exactly, and your creative freedom. Like the more money other people involved in your project, the less you become part of the decision making on the final cuts and things like that. And I think we've read stories about how look at like Harvey Weinstein and the power and control he had in the industry for so long, and how he not only control actors but directors in how they tell their story, how they want to end their story. He wants to Disney it. He wants to make it so that it's would win Oscar vote, but then it destroys like the art of the intention of the director, things like that. I mean, I also respect producers and their marketing strategies and all that too. So yeah, it's a bigger picture, but it's definitely at the end of the day for me, wanting to be on a project is I'm still like a young casting director and producer, so it's not like I get like all the top projects, but what attracted me to a project, first is the script, second is a director that has a very strong voice.
Yeah.
Even if they're young, or someone that has good intentions, and who believe in what I believe in, which is opening up opportunities for others, and not going about filmmaking in like a traditional way.
Yeah.
I think that's what attracts me to a script. And it's definitely interesting, because there's a lot of scripts out there that easily get financed, but they're telling the same stories that's been told like every decade. And I do wish that producers and people doing the financing behind the scene challenge themselves and pick up scripts that are a bit untraditional in the way money is made.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the marketplace is always changing. I mean, not only that, but there's like an infinite amount of distribution outlines to get to ingest content with. So.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, exactly. I think like time has changed, and definitely streaming has created that world for us. I think it's great, but then there's still like a lot of shitty content, right? I mean, like I'm on these streaming sites, and there's like thousands of shit to watch, but like I'm only interested in 3 things, right? And then like after I don't know what you guys habit is that I love media, whether it's film or like just like radical, vibrant, colorful advertising or things like that. I just like love consuming media.
Yeah.
And creating. So like I just have like stuff running in the background even when I work,
right.
And I would literally play through like a whole season of something like one straight entire day.
Right. Yeah. Right. Just binge watch.
So,
right. Yeah.
Exactly. There's some shows that are just great to play in the background again, and you can keep on watching it.
Right.
Pick up saying.
Right.
I like those shows too that like you don't have to really pay attention too much either.
Like all reality. my wife loves like The Bachelorette. So I watch it with her, and I've gotten like addicted to it, and I'm like, man, that guy's such an idiot, or why'd she make that decision? Like I get into it with her.
Right.
But it's also one of those things where like I don't necessarily need to watch the episode before to sit down and watch it now, So.
Right. It's junk food consumerism, visual consumerism, and I don't judge people that into reality TV. I'm not like, I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but I don't judge people because I understand the fascination with it. I understand like that reality TV for some people it's more relatable.
Yeah.
And I can't judge people if watching something that's really that is like ridiculous make them feel better because it's still like some of this is like it's like junk food binge eating like it makes some of us feel good and there's so many ways to entertain people and to create content. I mean like that's something YouTube for example is like people making their own content and like we spend hours just watching cat videos or like there are like young people love like watch on Snapchat, on Vine, on TikTok now. Like people like seeing what other people are doing in their life, even if it's like a 5-minute video. Like I'm going to the mall.
They're obsessed with it.
Really fascinating.
Yeah. The way we ingest. All right, let's jump into these Q&As. We got 4 good questions. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I ramble a lot. So.
Oh no, it's great. It's gonna get us through the whole thing. All right. So. Jamie Hunt, Jamie. Remember Jamie from
Oh yeah, hey Jamie.
Yeah. How is quarantine for you, and what are you most looking forward to working on when this is all over?
Ooh.
Good question, Jamie.
Well, to be honest, I think we met Jamie at Sundance in January. You and I. I think Jamie, you're in London now, right? You're back in London. So,
yeah, I think so.
Are you in LA?
I think he's back in the UK. Yeah.
In the UK. Oh, I hope you're having great tea. I've been like kind of exploring a lot of English breakfast while I'm in the quarantine. Right. So quarantine's good. Actually, since I last saw you guys at Sundance, I was working nonstop. And so when the lockdown happened, I flew back to New York from a project I was doing. And I slept for like 2 weeks because I was like working for like two months straight with no sleep, pretty much. So I slept for the first 2 weeks. So it was kind of, I think, nature blessing me, my body at least, for that time. I think this whole thing is, everyone can take it a different way, and I think it's the universe. Philosophically, I think it's the universe telling each and every one of us to take care of ourselves and to kind of reflect and see, what's most valuable to us, what's important to us.
Yeah.
Some of us definitely are in better situations than others, and this is the time that we should be kind, and be considerate. I hope that like we all come out of this pandemic more kind people. And we treat our world better. So that's how quarantine's doing for me. It's reminding me of how blessed I am, and to give back and to be kind and be reflective. So that's how quarantine's treating me. It's a lot of reflection. It's also giving me time to clean and organize.
Yeah.
And make and put things in boxes to get them ready to donate. I live in a really great neighborhood in New York, and I love my neighborhood. And that and just there's a local shipping store on Grand Street
Yeah.
in East Williamsburg, and they take clothing donations, book donations, electronic donations, and they recycle electronics and stuff like that. And they donate it. And it's down the street for me, so I like to gather stuff and donate.
You're cleaning house and you're donating. It's great.
Yeah.
So
Cleaning my closet, organizing.
Yeah, I love what Loriana said. She said the earth is healing now. I totally agree. I mean, like, with people, the car usage down, like, I mean, the pollution has gone down. And then my wife, Anne Marie, she went, love your perspective and outlook. So yeah, no, man, you're great. She lived in Queens for 7 years, so she's, we're both from
really?
Jersey, so she's a New York girl. So she's like, oh, I like this guy a lot.
Well, thank you. I won't steal your wife from you, but tell her thank you.
All right. Let's jump into the next one.
I think the second. I'll answer Jamie's second question too.
Sure.
Sorry, I have like a weird memory, so I remember everything.
That's good. I guess that's good. I guess that's good and bad, for actors, depending if
Yeah. Oh no, it's great, but then it's like I can like only meet like 2 people a day because I spend like 5 hours talking to one talent. But there are a few projects I am excited about that I'm hoping that comes through. There's an amazing person, female director from the Middle East. That's a very strong voice and just an amazing personality.
Yeah.
Who's a really strong filmmaker that I met in December, who is working on a project I can't talk much about, but there's a possibility of us working together on a project in the Middle East.
Wow.
With a really good script that I'm quite excited about. And I hope it works out for her, even if I'm not going to cast it.
Right.
But it would be amazing if we get to collaborate together. We connected and we share similar visions and tastes, but sometimes we have the same vision for the film, but the people financing it may have a different way they want to cast, so we'll see. But I'm excited about that. And I think she's a very strong female filmmaker and I hope she gets
the fun
project
underway. Now,
she has.
Oh, yeah. that brings up an interesting question. So, like, if you're casting a film that's based in another country, like in the Middle East, and you're based in New York, how do you go about finding those actors?
It's every project is different.
Yeah.
It depends. Like if they're just looking for like a big name to attach to, we go through like the traditional agency route. Except like in the Middle East, there's not like that many agencies. So and the taste is different too. It's often very commercial taste in like actors, and my taste is very more like indie and a little more
raw,
super edgy.
Right.
I have a more edgy taste. I have a more edgy and more colorful taste than the usual casting directors.
Right.
I love characters. So what I would probably do in cases like that, especially for narrative film, is a lot of research, and it takes like at least like usually 6 months to at least a year minimum to cast a narrative film if I was doing it my way.
Wow.
So it'll be like research, getting the financing to hit the ground in like the Middle East, wherever we're shooting, doing open calls, street scouting, reaching out to networks, just and and what I mean by street casting is like I'll fly to wherever it is and spend weeks, months, immerse or like road tripping wherever it is, and find the person, or find people that share similar stories to the main characters or the supporting characters, and then go from there.
That's
Because
cool.
oftentimes when it comes to like first time actors, they're good because they're not really super acting. They're kind of playing a version of themselves.
Right.
And that's kind of like that's how you kind of put someone new into it, because acting is an art, and so it's a muscle that you have to flex and be trained by. So you can't. Usually, it's rare to find like someone that can play someone else and they're like totally new. So it's a mix of that. So it's like, and then probably these days social media research. I'll probably be on YouTube, looking at like the Middle Eastern channels and creators there. Spotting people. I'll slip into people DM, be like, who's that friend like in that picture with you? Like it's kind of that. It's like just being completely obsessed 24/7 of looking for faces and looking for personalities that could be great for the film.
I think you really have an unconventional way of seeking actors versus the conventional way, which is the breakdown services, et cetera, et cetera. I mean,
and I use all of that. Yeah.
Of course.
Too.
But it seems like you go above and beyond. I mean, you're road tripping into places and doing street casting. You're specifically stalking people on Instagram and DMing their friends. I mean, maybe not stalking, but you're doing your research, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's kind of almost like documentary filmmaking, except I do it more in the mass, and I have like a big team, and we're literally researching and messaging thousands of people a week, and honestly, probably 10%. If we're doing commercial project, probably 50% reply. When we're doing narrative film, and we're literally looking for people that, because when you do narrative film, and I'm looking for characters, often, commercial is different from when commercial,
right.
You're looking for more aspirational, attractive people usually, more commercial characters. But when it comes to film, it's often because I like edgy filmmaking, sometimes the faces I'm looking for are like strong faces, and it's often people that in society, in their community, they're told they're not attractive, and to me, I think they're gorgeous and beautiful. So a lot of times, the problem I've run into is that people don't believe in their beauty and don't believe in themselves and don't believe that they deserve a chance at a role. So I've run into that all the time, even in New York, actually. It's about convincing people they deserve the chance and they should give themselves an opportunity to just try it,
Yeah.
There's a lot of that too. But it's really rewarding, even if it doesn't work out, just to see someone give it a try, and face the unknown. And
right.
Some people really enjoy it. They pursue acting after, or they pursue it on the side. But it I think it's. I love that I get to give someone an opportunity to try something that everyone else in their life tells them that they don't deserve the opportunity, they don't have the face that should be on TV or in movies. And I like to erase that trauma that a lot of people
have instilled
faced when they were young.
Yeah,
that instilled within them they're not beautiful enough, that they're not deserving enough. I like to tell people, or at least give people motivation to see that all this self-hate that society gives us, in men and women, and people of all gender, all sexuality, of all backgrounds. Like, you could be really rich and you could grow up in a family that tells you you're less than.
Right.
You know, and so I think that I love the fact that my job gives me the privilege to remind people that they're more than less than. And I think, encouraging people to just try something.
That's
like
awesome.
Make a tape or read a role. I think it's nice to try.
You are the actor's casting director. I mean, you're so supportive, man. So, I mean, that's awesome. I
hope so.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I mean, from our meeting in person and then our interactions, like, you've always been very genuine and you seem very caring just about anybody in any situation that you're in. But, like, to hear your full perspective on casting, I mean, it's awesome. Like, especially for actors, because 99% of the time we're told no. So it's like, yeah, maybe we're told no, but if we're still appreciated and we know that we're appreciated, I mean, that's great. So
Oh,
Lori,
it's so important.
Yeah, no, it is. No, thank you. Loriana, yes, we'll save these. Some of them I'm posting on YouTube. All right, let's jump in. Are you ready for another question?
Sure.
All right, here we go. So this is Loriana. So, what's the best way to get on your radar?
If you go to my website, which is in my bio on Instagram, there is a link on my menu to submit as talent. So you can submit yourself directly to me. That's one way to do it. And you could also send me an email, but if you submit on the form, I'll get it. I'm not going to always answer everyone that submit, but I do keep you on my radar. You get added to my database and my system. I have an internal system, and that's the way to do it. But when you do submit, do tell me about yourself and type in keywords. If you're a member of the LGBTQ community, I'll talk about your hobbies and your interests. If you know how to breathe fire, like those skills, crazy skill, quirky things about yourself, do tell us. Like, I actually found someone who was a bird watcher. Like, she travels all around the world and bird watch, and we ended up casting her for a documentary project for Swiss Airline, and we flew her to Switzerland, where she got a free trip, and she was also paid for her time.
Awesome.
So yeah, anything that you might be afraid to tell other people that makes you unique, tell me. I enjoy reading those things.
Anita Platypus said, I have a model rabbit.
Oh yeah, now and then I do pets casting.
Perfect.
So you can submit your pets too.
I'm gonna submit Reggie, my circus dog. So, dude, that's.
Oh really? Can he do tricks?
Yeah. I mean, well, the basic. He can stand, turn, roll over, and take treats out of your mouth. So yeah, and high fives.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, if I need a pet when I'm casting Atlanta, I'll hit you up.
Perfect.
I'm adopting like a kitten soon.
Oh, good.
Because I don't know how this quarantine's gonna last.
Right, you need company.
So I'm gonna try to teach them tricks.
Yeah. A kitten, yeah, that would be great if you teach a kitten tricks. So, dude, I will say the quarantine has been great for the animals. I mean, the shelters are empty, and like in our apartment complex in Atlanta, there are 6 people who got new dogs or who got a dog. If it's a puppy or a shelter dog. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah. All right, let's jump into another question. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. This is a child's. So it's Nico Morales. How important is a child actor's resume when selecting lead supporting roles?
Now I'm just gonna answer for me how I do it, because every casting director casts differently. For me, when it comes to narrative film and child actors, which I've had experience with, because I did a movie called Goldie, and we had to cast child actors, and we found some really amazing girls in New York for that, through open call, street casting, and agencies. The resume isn't that important for kids to me, honestly. It's about first, make sure the headshots are good, and I don't think parents should waste the money every 6 months or so updating their kids' portfolio with expensive headshots pictures. Everyone has an iPhone or like a good camera phone. Parents, take your kids out around 5 p.m. during golden hour, find like a plain bar, and have fun with your kid and take some pictures. And just update that every 3 to 6 months.
Right.
And use those pictures. Don't waste your money. I think headshot in a traditional sense, like if you're like kids on Broadway, that makes sense probably. But I think and my background is I was a photographer before I was a casting director. I think with cameras these days,
dude,
and the portrait mode.
Dude,
portrait
mode on the iPhone, man. You got super cinematic. Yeah, and you don't have to edit it, and it looks gorgeous.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for people taking photos, going on YouTube and watching a simple how to take a great photo with your iPhone on YouTube video and learn about lighting. I mean, you do that for 20 minutes, you go take a headshot session. Yeah.
Yeah. And it could be a funny bonding experience for families.
Yeah. Especially now.
Exactly. And resume-wise, casting directors really, honestly, I don't think most are even looking at past experience. Honestly, if the kid has like the look and age and they check like the visual box that we're looking for,
right,
we're gonna call them in to a casting or get a self-tape, because kids are very spontaneous and unpredictable. Just because a child has great pictures and headshots, from my experience. Someone just asked. No, headshots could be from any phone or any camera. I'm just saying that like the iPhone portrait mode is just great for
stellar
headshots.
Yeah.
And in my office, when actors come in, we use the iPhone to take pictures. So and I know numerous casting offices that use iPads or iPhone to take pictures.
Right.
But back to like the child's actor, is that what you need to really focus on is that to make sure that your kid can take directions well. And also that they don't overact. So whether you have them join classes at camp or like plays and activities, just to keep them excited. And first off, like make sure your kid really love being an actor,
right? Because
there are really beautiful kids out there who hate being run around to serve their stage dad's life's purpose of reliving something that they miss out on. So first off, make sure your kids love what you put them into, and then help them hone their skills, and make sure that they're always emotionally and spiritually supported, because I think that being a child actor also gives a lot of people complexes where because you're taken to auditions and sometimes you're not emotionally ready, at least when kids are playing sports, for example, when you win or lose, you can physically, tangibly understand that. But as a young child who gets rejected, going to a casting about something they're super excited about, and you as a parent spent like 3 days working with them on that, and then they don't get the part, I think that, and it's not within their control, and that's nothing tangible.
Yeah.
I think it could do damage to a lot of people. I mean, it does a lot of damage to fucking adults, right? So
Right.
imagine a child.
Right.
Sorry for cursing. I know
There's kids on
thing,
here.
like,
No, that's okay.
so like parents like think it's the most important thing is making sure your child loves what they're doing.
Right.
And it will show, because when they walk into the audition room, because sometimes some casting directors don't let parents in because children act differently.
Yeah.
You know, when the parents in the room are not in the room, and some kids are way more mature and they prefer their parents not in the room looking at them and then like judging them. And sometimes parents are like crazier than kids, where they're like, you know, I think like the kids messing up a little bit is great because it made like the way they talk and act more natural, and
right.
I like that. And then the parents like overreact and think the child messed up when I thought they did a great job. So,
right. Well, and that's good too, because then you get to see how they act when they mess up. So if they're on set, like, you get to see how that kid handles it too.
Exactly. So I think it's less about like filling the resume and, you know, with stuff, because I don't, for kids, I don't think it really matters much, you know. And it's just like, keep on like, if your child enjoy it, keep on taking them to auditions or making self-tape when it's requested, you know, and giving them that experience. But I think taking directions, having good personality, learning to work with others, those are like really the traits that a lot of people are looking in for kids, you know, like, because you can have like, I'm in New York, so I do a lot of fashion and commercial casting too, and there are very beautiful kids in New York. But we also like meet kids that are so beautiful, but they are just torture going to auditions and having to be forced to do this. So I think like, you know, it's just that's important for me when it comes to kids, is making sure their welfare is protected.
Yeah.
You know.
And they want to be there. Their interests are protected as well, right? Yeah.
And the thing is that if your child loves this and you nurture it, that they will eventually get a part, you know, that's right for them. It's about supporting their dreams, if that is their dream, you know. And I also think that success in this industry, to be quite honest with everyone, it's kind of being there at the right time when the role that is right for you comes up, because it's always timing and 30% timing, 30% talent, and having what it takes, and, you know, and 30% luck.
What's the other 10%?
The other 10% is being ready for that opportunity when it comes, because there's a lot of people who have the look, have the personality, talent, but a lot of things are going on, and they're not ready to accept the opportunity when it's given to them. And it happens, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you something. So we are getting specifically like into kids. What about reels for kids? And then adding on to that, what about reels for adults and, you know, and other actors and actresses?
Well, if you have like a great kid that's in a lot of stuff, yeah, it's great to put a reel together. But again, parents, don't spend a lot of money, you know, like, don't spend a lot of money. If your kid is under 15 and don't have a lot of experience, don't worry about reel. Don't worry, you know, like, if there's one project that they're really great in, like, link it on their profile, whether it's Backstage or casting networks at LA Casting, you know. But you don't have to spend all that money putting a reel. And if you want to make a reel, then like, you and your child should invest the time in doing it. Actually, kids are so smart and so tech advanced right now. That could be a great activity for them to do. They should, you know, I met 7-year-olds that are filmmakers, and they edit their videos. And so, you know, I guess I just think that it's a lot of investment, and I hope people save their money and take family vacations and
Right,
make
right. Well,
memories.
dude, well, I always tell people when, like, because I shoot original content and I edit content that people have, and I always tell people that one great scene is better than five okay
Oh
scenes.
yeah,
Like, one great scene, if you present it in the right way, that'll create so much opportunity for you.
exactly. Great quality is always better than quantity.
Yeah.
So and that will always hold true. And as everyone knows, as you advance in acting, in the career of acting, at the beginning you kind of take on everything, and at the beginning you think that everything should be on your resume because you don't have a lot of things to list.
Right.
But as you continue to go on, you realize that, oh, what I did when I first came to LA is so embarrassing, and after being in the industry for so long, you're like, oh, I need to cut that out. And
Right.
then you realize that, oh, it's the quality. Like, being in one quality project with one great acting scene with great monologue or dialogue, it's better, because also you have to remember that casting directors and filmmakers and producers don't have a lot of time. We literally have 30 seconds to look at the headshots, click on a video of theirs, and that's it. We don't even have time to look at resume. To be quite blunt and honest with you, that we sometimes are given a movie project where we have to cast 50 speaking role, and we literally have 3 weeks to do it, and we have over 10,000 submissions to look through around the country. So there's really, so you want to make sure your headshots, your pictures, your collections of pictures really shows ability and versatility. And then if you have a video, make sure that one video is great. If there's no video, that's completely fine. We don't even have time to look at the video most of the time, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to get people in the room or get people to tape for the role, because it is only the script or the sides that has exactly what we need for us to decide if you have the chops, the talent, and the ability to act that scene out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's great. Would you say that the resume really matters when, like, you're up for like a network television show and then it has to be approved by so many other sources, and they're like,
it depends on the casting director. If you're it'd be good to research who if you have the time as an actor, research who the casting director is and see how they kind of cast. If it's like a really traditional casting director that's been doing this for like 40 years, then probably getting your agent to email their assistant will help more than and emailing like a list of your projects with video links, and whatnot. It's more important. And what I would say is that you should have different projects you do that show your disability. You should have a reel, which is great, but reels are really confusing because rarely have I ever seen a good reel. To be point blank, but clips from you should edit and take clips from like each of the movie or projects you've done that where you're speaking and you have great presence or whatever, or you're acting, even if it's like non-vocal. And you should create an archive of it. So, like, say, for example,
right,
you're submitting to a role where you need to be aggressive and loud, and you have a clip from that, then that's what your agent, your manager, and yourself should be submitting to the casting office, is that clip that shows you embodying a personality that's very similar to the character you're submitting for. So if you have like as you grow in your career and you have these clips, you should archive it on Dropbox or whatever system you use on your website, on Vimeo, YouTube, that shows these ability, because that helps you more, because that somebody be like, oh, you already have experience playing this kind of character.
Right.
All right, let's give you an opportunity to come in.
Right. So, you already have an idea. Like, you've seen it. You've already seen it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you know, yeah. Now, I gotta go back and stand up for, like, there are a lot of bad reels out there, I mean, that's why I have a business, because,
Yeah.
like, we either shoot original content, or I will take people's reels and I will fine tune the hell out of them. The thing that I hate, and you can agree or disagree, I hate when actors start with montages. I think they need to put their best work right away and get right
Yeah.
into it. And I think they need to keep the reel moving. So at the end of it, if it's a minute, if it's 3 scenes and it's a minute, it leaves you wanting more. So you do call them in.
Exactly, and yeah, I agree. I would agree with you, Brett. There's no more montages, no more like cheesy kind of like, cuts, quick cuts. It's very cheesy,
Yeah.
and it's wasting everyone's time, because you have to realize that you need to make a quick, immediate, strong impression.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally agree. And a short reel, like a 1 minute,
Hey, Julian. Yeah.
it's that like just has a very strong scene that cuts right into it. Like, it's just way better, honestly.
Yeah.
It's true.
Engage the person that you want to engage emotionally, and get them entrenched in it, so they remember you and they keep watching it, or if they're like,
Exactly.
oh, I gotta move on, but let me bring him or her in.
Yeah, you show your talent, your acting talent, and even if you're not right for the role, because there are times where people, where we're like, oh, this person submitted for this role, but they're not right for it. But their performance was so great, they could be for this other role.
Right.
So yeah, it's that reel or that clip needs to just be strong and memorable. I think that's the most important thing. And honestly, if you're still like a new actor, and and you just like haven't had like the experience yet, for to have like projects to cut, then it might be better, like, for example, to take a side from a movie you really love, a monologue, a dialogue you really love, and do a self tape of that and use that.
Yeah. So Loriana said, "Is it a good idea to showcase 20-second self-tape type of role that is not on your current reel?" I mean,
Yeah. I think that acting is like a muscle you should always kind of flex.
Yeah.
So I think like during this time where people are on quarantine and they're getting less requests to auditions or tape, it would be great to go back into amazing movies with great dialogue and monologues, and tape yourself. Definitely.
Quick.
That,
go ahead.
Oh yeah. That this is a great time to kind of hone your skills and also showcase it.
And a quick plug for LA Reels. We do have monologue books, original film monologue books that LA Reels has written. We have a female book and a male book at the lareels.com/store, so you guys could check that out. So there's some really great monologues in there. Yeah.
No, that's great resources, because I think like don't wait to be cast on an amazing project to show your abilities.
Right.
You should, go back 20, 30 years or even further on movies that you love, or movies that are great, that have a great script. And roles you thought that if you were in that era, like if you were like, that you would love to be cast for.
Right.
I think that a great way to think is that you put yourself in the shoes of the greatness you want to be, whether, Oscar-winning scripts and all that, and you play those characters and you take yourself, because honestly, it's, I think there's some past script in the past that are better than scripts that are out now, and because the other problem with a lot of scripts these days is that there's a pressure for writers to chunk out so much content that they aren't spending much time developing dialogues.
Right.
So honestly, there's old school scripts that are better for people to showcase their acting chops and the nuances of acting. So Yeah, definitely. I'll check it out.
So
Yeah,
we're at the 1 minute and 30-second mark before Instagram kicks us off. So is there anything you want to leave us with, or any plugs, or how we can connect with you, etc.?
You guys can connect with me on my website. I just hope everyone's safe and well, and that the world's treating you kindly at the moment. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. No, Damian, thank you so much for being here, man. It's always always a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure. You know, the short amount of time we've known each other, but I feel like we're getting closer every time. So
yeah,
no.
I appreciate it. Thanks for doing all these. This is fun to connect with.
Yeah, of course, of course. And then for everyone else out there, if you have any questions about Reels or anything, feel free to hit me up at Brett, BRETT, at LAReels.com. Otherwise, keep an eye out. We got lives coming up all week and all next week and the following week. So, all right, Damian, be safe. Everyone out there, be safe. Damian, appreciate you, buddy.
Of course. Bye, guys.
Peace.